Mr. Speaker, in the government's 2017 platform, we outlined the following in relation to arable land and community gardens. And I quote, firstly, to lease the many acres of government arable land that are currently not being used in order to boost domestic food production. The incentive is to modernize the equipment used to boost productivity and make the domestic industry more profitable, and to promote and develop community gardens that can assist in meeting the needs of the less fortunate in our community. Mr. Speaker, the government owns 38 plots of arable/farmland across the island. I'm pleased to report that 32 of these lots are currently leased. 3 are in legal disputes over its ownership. 2 are presently out to tender, and the final plot will shortly be put out to tender. Mr. Speaker, this government has demonstrated its commitment to farming by both formalizing lease renewals and providing longer leases so that farmers have security of tenure and thus the ability to gain loans for equipment, machinery, and improvements. As an example, the lease for Westover Farm was renewed in May last year for 21 years. I think that is a clear demonstration of our commitment. Turning now to community gardens, Mr. Speaker, everyone will be familiar with the longest established and most well-known Crow Lane Community Garden. This garden was established in 1984 and continues to flourish to this day. This is a perfect example of a project that leads to a wider community collaboration well beyond gardening. Mr. Speaker, the garden has been led by Dr. Gloria and Mr. Rolf Frederick from the very beginning in 1984. An incredible 36-year journey that clearly demonstrates their passion, and they have not been selfish with sharing their knowledge with all those who have sought their advice. I spoke with Mr. Frederick this week to pick his brain, something I do on a regular basis, and was delighted to learn that Aresta were bringing some of their seniors to tour the garden. They welcome groups all the time. I would like to publicly thank the Fredericks for their many years of commitment and dedication to this magnificent project. Mr. Speaker, government is fully committed to doing its part to aid in boosting the growth of the agricultural industry. The plan is to establish a community garden in every parish. We aim to ensure the public is aware of future sites that will soon be available so they can become involved. Various plots will be open and available to the general public, and very little experience is required to become involved. All that is needed is a love for your community and a desire to feed our own. It's clear that each garden must have a leader, ideally from the neighborhood, who is passionate about gardening, who will be the driving force to making it a success. Mr. Speaker, before the pandemic, we established a community garden at Gibbs Hill Lighthouse Park, and this has proven to be very successful and well received by the Southampton community. It has now been named Serenity Garden and is managed by the husband and wife team of Mr. Dave and Mrs. Josiel Blakely. They have been unrelenting in pushing for this to happen and have been instrumental with teaming up with various government departments to push the plan forward. I'd specifically like to thank Jamaica Smith, Acting Park Planner, and Stephen Furbett, Senior Superintendent, for all their assistance in getting the garden started. Mr. Speaker, there are a number of new sites on the horizon. Currently, there are 2 sites competing to come online next. Avocado Lodge Park at the top of Corkscrew Hill, which is currently being cleared of brush and invasive trees, and the T.N. Tatum Community Partners Garden, which has been cleared and prepared for mapping out of the plots. Tatum is being led by boxer Nikki Bascom with assistance from the Blakeneys. There is also support from the other community partners at Tatum, as well as several neighbors from Stadium Lane who have put in their requests already for plots. There are 3 other sites on the horizon. Southlands East, a plot at Tudor Farm, and St. David's Community Garden at Lords. So if there are interested persons willing to lead any of these sites, please come forward and volunteer so that they can become operative in short order. As I stated earlier, these projects must be led by persons who have a passion for gardening. please contact Tamika Smith, Acting Park Planner at the Department of Parks to express your interest. Mr. Speaker, separately, it should be noticed that not much land is required to create your own backyard garden. We know this to be so from the number of requests we've had for mulch from marsh falling. So much so that over the last few weeks, we have been delivering truckloads of mulch to both Serenity and Tatum, as well as to several community areas that are available for collection from various neighborhood sites, such as Purvis Primary, the Government Gate, Devonshire Community Garden, and Death Valley Field. We are available to deliver to other parts of the island in support of what we are calling the COVID home gardens. Members of the public can simply speak to their member of parliament, and he or she will make the necessary arrangements for a community drop location in your neighborhood. Anyone can help themselves to the mulch if they choose. They can also collect it from Marsh Folly 24 hours a day, and it's free. Follow the signs. It's literally at the entrance to Marsh Folly. Mr. Speaker, I've asked the Director of Parks to incorporate within the registry of community gardens a process whereby we can record production output, which we can share with the community, as well as generate data for our own records. I'd also like to invite those private landowners who have unused plots of land that is suitable for a community garden to consider creating one. Again, the Department of Parks will be more than willing to lend a hand in getting it organized. Mr. Speaker, I live near Lighthouse Hill and have seen that project from an overgrown, weed-infested piece of land to the spectacular garden it is today, as well as the community benefit of neighbors interacting and working positively together. I again wish to thank the Blakeleys for being the driving force behind making it a reality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.